anyone in Thailand of a mature age, a category that included both the detective and herself, would honor the occasion by wearing something yellow. For men, it would be a tie. Ladarat herself was honoring the day with a yellow silk blouse, along with a blue skirt that was her constant uniform. They were not particularly flattering to her thin figure, she knew. Her late husband, Sambun, had often joked, gently, that sometimes it was difficult to tell whether a suit of clothes concealed his wife or whether perhaps they hid a coat hanger. It was true she lacked obvious feminine landmarks. That, plus oversized glasses and hair pinned tightly in a bun, admittedly did not contribute to a figure of surpassing beauty. But Ladarat Patalung was not the sort of person to dwell on herself, either her strong points or any points at all. Those people existed, she knew, particularly in Sriphat Hospital. They were very much aware of their finer points, in particular, and eagerly sought out confirmation of those points. These were people who waited hungrily for compliments, much as a hunting crocodile lurks in the reeds by the edge of a lake. If she were that sort of person, the sort of person who dwells on her talents and wants to add yet another to her list, it might have occurred to her to think that her deduction regarding Kun Wiriya's nervousness revealed the hidden talents of a detective. She might have reached this conclusion because she noticed things like the doctor's behavior, and not everyone did. But she was most emphatically not the sort of person to dwell on her talents. Besides, her perceptiveness wasn't even a talent, really. Not any more than being a nurse ethicist was a talent. Anyone could do it, given the right training. Ladarat herself was certainly nothing special. Being an ethicist was all about observing, and that was more of a habit. Anyone could do it. You just had to be quiet and listen and watch. That's all. It was a habit that was a little like finding forest elephants in her home village near Ma Jo, in the far northwestern corner of Thailand. Anybody could see an elephant in front of her nose, of course, but to sense where they might be, back in the undergrowth, you had to be very still and watchful. In that moment, as the detective fidgeted and his eyes skittered across her bookshelves, Ladarat resolved that she would be very quiet. She would be watchful. She would be patient as her father taught her to be when they went looking for elephants 30 years ago. She was only a little girl then, but he taught her to pay attention to the world around her. That was what this moment called for. She settled back to wait, sure that the reason for Kun Wiriya's nervousness would emerge just as the shape of an elephant would materialize from the overgrowth, if you were patient enough. After all, Kun Wiriya was an important detective. His was a very prestigious position, held by a very important man. This was a man who had no time for social visits, and therefore a man who could be counted on to get to the point quickly. So Ladarat looked expectantly across her desk at the detective, her pencil poised above a clean yellow notepad that she had labeled with today's date. She hoped she wouldn't have to wait long, though. She, too, was busy. She was the nurse ethicist for the entire hospital, and she had a full docket already. And the Royal Hospital Inspection Committee would be coming to visit next Monday, exactly 1 short week from now. And not only did she need to impress the committee, she also needed to impress Tipawan Taksin, her supervisor. Kun Tipawan was a thin, pinched woman with a near-constant squint who held the exalted title of Director of Excellence, a title that was due in no small part to the fact that she was a distant relation of the Thai noble family. And what did that title mean exactly? Anyway, impressing the inspector was one thing, but impressing the tough Kun Tipawan would be something else altogether. She had so much to prepare. Even if she worked 24 hours a day for the next week, she would never please Kun Tipawan. So hopefully the trouble, whatever it was, would emerge soon. And it did. "I mean to say," the detective said, "we may be looking for a murderer." Ladarat nodded, but suspected that she did not entirely succeed in maintaining a calm, unruffled demeanor. It wasn't every day that she had such a conversation about murder. In fact,